And we're on. Welcome to the Stuck Movie Watching Vlogs. This is the segment where I read off a list of films that I watched in the previous month. So this video is going to focus on the month of February, 2015. Hopefully we won't make this video too long because I didn't watch a whole lot of films in February. See, the thing is, when my shows such as Gotham, Arrow, The Flash, The Blacklist, Empire, when my weekly shows are airing, I tend to not watch a whole lot of movies. I watch my shows at night. As well as, reading comics, playing games. It's really hard to balance out all the great stuff that I'm into, But anyway, let's go ahead and dive right into this. We're going to talk about some movies and hopefully have a little fun. So the first movie I saw on the 4th was Dear White People. This is a somewhat difficult movie to review because I still don't necessarily know how I feel about it. In the end, I like the film. I think it is overrated. I mean, some people say it's like the greatest damn movie of the last year. It's commendable. It has a lot of good topics, a lot of good issues. I don't really necessarily think that the movie is saying anything new. It's pretty much pointing out that racism, unfortunately, is alive and well. We all know that. We all wish racism, most of us wish racism would just be abolished. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that's ever going to happen. So this movie deals with a lot of racial topics, a lot of just actually various topics of college life, cinema, and one of the things that I was interested in was the theme of self-identity. Many times we kind of have to fall into our own stereotype to be with our own kind. Let's face it, sometimes, for myself being Hispanic, I don't listen to Mexican music. I don't speak Spanish. I'm not that typical Hispanic. But often I have to somewhat act like one when I'm with some of my own people. And the point is, you want to strive to be different, but sometimes you just kind of have to conform to a more stereotypical version of yourself to kind of get along with certain people. But anyway, that's one of the things that I really liked. The movie wasn't necessarily that great for the reason that the characters are not likable. Ironically, the most likable character in this movie is the white guy. The white guy, there are a few white people, but the white guy who is friends with the main, activist chick. But yeah, it doesn't have very likable characters, and it's not funny. It's a satire, which satires don't have to be laughed out loud, but damn, this thing didn't have any humor, in my opinion. So it's a very mixed film. I would probably give it a 3.5. I do give it a 3.5 out of 5. And, it's an interesting film, though. I will give it that. Alright, so the next movie I saw a documentary called Now in the Wings on a World Stage. Now, I actually did not finish this movie. I was not into it. It's a documentary and / travelogue. Basically, it's a behind-the-scenes look at director Sam Mendes of American Beauty and World Edition and Kevin Spacey, and how they are bringing a live production of Richard III, William Shakespeare's Richard III, and how they're touring all around the world. Now, the film does have some beautiful locations that they catch on camera. They have a lot of candid moments with the cast. Unfortunately, I just was not into this documentary. The only reason why I watched it, or at least attempted to watch it, was because on the Reader Film Podcast, which I've been on there quite a few times, and I love it, every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on RadioTitans.com. Had to throw that in there. We interviewed the director. I mostly shut the hell up. In fact, I didn't say shit during the interview because I had nothing to ask. I just was not into the documentary at all, so I stopped watching it. It's not a bad film, it just wasn't very interesting to me. Next, I watched... Where are you? Sorry, I'm trying to balance out the camera, looking at the screen with the camera and looking at my list. Robocop on Blu-ray. Now, you never need a reason or a special occasion to watch this classic. You watch it whenever you want. You should watch it as often as you can. But the reason why I watched this at this particular time was the fact that my dear friend Movie Man Chad bought this for me for my birthday back in January. And I hadn't had a chance to watch it until that day. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to watch it. Which, by the way, this is, it has this little, hell no, it doesn't want to come out when I want to show it off. Bastard. There you go. This little cool vintage looking backer card thingy. Pretty cool. Anyway, he bought this for me for my birthday. I wanted to watch it, and I'm so glad I have this now because this Blu-ray is fantastic. Now, Robocop, which came out back in 1987, released by Orion Pictures. If you know anything about Orion, you know that they were a low-budget studio, and none of their movies actually look great. They all look really dirty and bad. So Robocop is no exception, but this Blu-ray did an exceptional job the people who put this Blu-ray together did an exceptional job in remastering it. It looks as clean as it's ever gonna look, and the sound, which again, the sound was never a big thing. You take something like 1987's Predator, which came out the same year, the sound in that holds up well. The sound in this is not particularly great, but on Blu-ray, it's pretty damn good. So my point is, don't have to say much about the movie. We all know it's a classic, but the sound and the picture really make this Blu-ray worth having. So thank you, Chad, if you're watching this. I really deeply appreciate this Blu-ray, and I highly recommend it to anybody who may already have the DVD and think, oh, that's good enough. No, get that Blu-ray. And of course, it's a 5 out of 5. It's classic. The movie. I gotta show you because my mustache is getting too long, and the hairs are going in my mouth, so that's pretty gross. The next movie I saw was Moon, starring Sam Rockwell and the voice of Kevin Spacey. Moon is a movie that I've heard so much about. People always often talk about it, and I just never was really that into it or interested in seeing it until Oblivion came out. People compared the movie to Moon and spoiled Moon as well. And I got so frustrated that I said, well, I guess I don't have to see Moon anymore. Yet, for some reason, it popped up as a Netflix recommendation. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I rented it through Netflix, and I finally saw it. And despite the fact that it was spoiled for me, it was a good film. Really good science fiction story, great direction, beautiful visuals. I am not the biggest Sam Rockwell fan, but he did a good job. He actually did a stunning job. Here comes my dad, who does it. Yourself? Yes, I'm talking to myself. He did. After all these years, he doesn't realize that I make videos. And I lost my train of thought. Thank you, Dad. Anyway, Sam Rockwell, not the biggest fan, but he did a wonderful job. He gives a great performance. And I I always thought the movie was going to be dull and boring because it focused on him. No, the movie manages to be very gripping and really, it's a unique film. So if you haven't seen Moon, I do recommend it. It's a good film. I would give that a 4. Okay, so next, because I watched the original, I felt like watching the remake. And since I got this Blu-ray back during Black Friday, I figured it's about time I finally watched it. And that is the Robocop remake. A lot of people they gave this movie shit even before it was out. I did too. I was guilty of that. I was against a remake of a classic like Robocop. But saw it in theaters. I really enjoyed it. Of course, it's not better than the original or even as good. But what I do like and respect is that this film manages to go beyond the first film. It's its own story. It is more up to date. It's more for the modern age. And it's a good film. It's a respectable remake. Joel Kinnaman is not exactly the best, actor, at least in this film. I'm going to close my door. But, yeah, Michael Keaton is great, even though this movie doesn't have a good villain. That's the problem. Keaton is somewhat the antagonist, but he's not exactly the best villain. He's just an interesting businessman. It's Michael Keaton, so he's awesome anyway. Anyway, I actually reviewed this movie in the past, but my whole thing was, I liked it back then. Would I like it with a second viewing? And yes, I feel the exact same way. It's a 3.5 out of 5. It's a respectable remake. I wish they would make a sequel to this film because it was enjoyable. And of course, the Blu-ray is fantastic. The sound, the picture, it's all pretty much standard stuff, but it's the right kind of standard. So, Robocop remake, love it or hate it. I liked it, not I love it, but you gotta give it some respect. It may be dull for some people, but at least it's not a copy and paste remake from the original. Okay, next is... Actually, I saw this on the same day, on the 13th. I guess I watched that early. So at night, I watched Selma. Selma, of course, the film which got snubbed for so many Academy Awards, but was given out 2 Academy Award nominations, I should say. Damn, what an excellent movie, and I definitely agree that it got snubbed in so many categories, including director, which, I don't know her name, but this is like her first major feature film, and it's done so well, but yet she doesn't get an Academy Award nomination. And of course, David Aiello, who, God, to me, he just embodied the spirit of Martin Luther King. He just became Martin Luther King. Now, I heard that the movie is historically inaccurate, and that's a damn shame. I hate it when movies tend to make up their own history, but I did really like the film. I thought it was very powerful. It was very impactful. Despite being PG-13, they do not hold back on the brutality, which I really admire from this film. And I love the song. I love the song Glory by Common and John Legend. And now, Common is an Academy Award winner. He has an Oscar. That means a lot to me, because I'm a great Common fan. So yeah, Selma was an excellent film. I would rate it a 4.5. I think it was an excellent film. I definitely felt the power of that film, and I recommend it to anybody who wants to see a damn good drama. The next day, on the 14th, I'm not sure why I'm saying the dates, I just wanted to watch something fun. The movie had been on my mind for a while. I felt like watching it. I have the DVD, but it's very hard to get to because we're in the process of remodeling the den, so it's in a box right now. I did not want to dig it up. It's Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Kind of a shame. I wish I had dug it out. It has a great cover. Once Upon a Time in Mexico, of course, starring Antonio Banderas, Johnny Depp, Danny Trejo as Cocoy, and Selma Hayek. You know what? I love Desperado. It's one of my favorite action movies. Once Upon a Time is a good follow-up, but it's a very odd film. It's obviously directed by Robert Rodriguez as well, but it just has a very different tone. Desperado is a whole lot more fun and straightforward. Once Upon a Time is very ambitious and often convoluted, I would say, but still has some really good action, even though it's way over the top. And oh my god, that movie has some really, I'm not gonna say bad editing, but there's some major continuity issues with that film. But anyway, it's still a fun movie. I've always enjoyed it. Johnny Depp is great in the movie, and I love how he makes his transactions with vintage lunch boxes, including one that's a Clash of the Titans lunchbox. But anyway, 3.5, I would say. I enjoyed the film. It's a good film. So anyway, let's keep going. We're halfway done. Okay. Next, I saw this on Amazon for $5, and my dad told me to order it. We want, it's a. Once upon a time, Steven Seagal was a good action star, and back in 1990, when he made Hard to Kill, he made it known that he was a force to be reckoned with. Now, obviously, now the only force he has is at the buffet line, because that motherfucker is fat. Anyway, like I'm going to talk. Hard to Kill, very memorable action movie for me. I used to watch this a lot when I was a kid. I love it when he beats up the essays and in the supermarket, or the liquor store, I should say. Hilarious that he, well, I don't think they were married at the time, but it co-stars his then future ex-wife, Kelly LeBrock, who is awful in this movie. She's horrible. But anyway, I enjoy the action of this movie. This movie has one of the best lines after a character kills somebody. Spoiler alert, who gives a shit? When he gets to the guy that murdered his wife, he sticks a broken, what do you call it, a pool stick when you play pool, a cue, a broken cue in the guy's chest. He's like, that's for my wife, fuck you and die. That's just great. Anyway, it's such a cheesy, great 90s action flick. It's not something that's art or anything that you should put in a time capsule, but it's an interesting reminder that Steven Seagal was once a good action star. 3 out of 5 for that one. Next is, okay, hold on. As if I haven't talked about this movie enough. The Raid Redemption. I usually just call it The Raid, but what the hell, Redemption. I'm not going to talk about the movie anymore, even though it does seem to get better and better every time I see it, but I love this movie so damn much, and the sequel is even better. What I am disappointed with is I have been wanting to show this movie to my dad for the longest time. My dad's a big action junkie like I am, but apparently he's not into modern action, or maybe this movie was just a little too violent for him, because when it ended, he was like, those guys sure do scream a lot. Which is true. That's all you have to say, Dad? really? He's in the next room. I don't want to be too loud. I have all this great, spectacular action. That's all you could say. And I told him about the sequel, and he's like, oh, no. One's enough for me. No. So that really disappointed me. I'm like, wow. That's, I'm not gonna show my dad anything new. Anyway, that night, I watched a movie called Love, spelled L-U-V. In parentheses, it's called Learning Uncle Vincent. I saw this on Netflix. It's kind of it stars Common, and he's an ex-con. He takes his nephew out for, to spend the day with him. Turns out that he's really trying to score some money to open up a business, and he gets kind of caught up in the lifestyle that he's trying to avoid. He's got some gangsters who are, they think that he snitched while in prison, so they're kind of threatening his life. It's actually a crime drama. I thought it was going to be a sentimental drama. It ended up being a crime drama, which I kind of liked, but I was a little disappointed, even though it had some really good actors in it. Charles S. Dutton, Danny Glover, Dennis Haysbert. Let me see if I can do it. This is all state. You're in good hands. I can't do Dennis Haysbert. I can't. I wish I could. I wish I had that deep voice. Anyway, disappointing movie. I liked it, but it's not. It loses focus towards the middle of the film, and it's got a lot of issues. So I would give it. What did I rate it? Did I rate it? Yeah, I give it a 3.5 because I did like the film. I was entertained by it, and Common did a good job. And the kid who's in the movie did a really good job. So, okay, so next I saw my first 2015 film, and that's McFarland USA. As if I really wanted that to be the first film I saw this year. I saw the movie because Scott Menzel, my dear friend, he wanted to hang out, he wanted to spend the day with me, and he had some gift cards, so we went to go see that, because he already seen everything else, and plus, we went to do the Reader Film podcast, and so, we had to talk about the film. Good movie, very standard, very cliche, it's your by the book, Walt Disney, sports drama thing, it has all the cliches in the world, it's feel good, it's non-offensive, but it's actually a good film. It is funny because it focuses on Hispanics, and it's almost like they had a Hispanic culture checklist, let's see, I told this joke before, it was kind of funny. Again, my dad doesn't understand that I do videos, but whatever, I don't know what that is. My dad, if only he had appeared on camera. Once again, I lost my train of thought. Okay, a Hispanic checklist. Gotta have the lowriders, gotta have the car club, gotta have the use of the song Suavecito, tortillas and enchiladas, a quinceañera, for crying out loud, for a white girl. Oh boy. Still, it's a good movie. Kevin Costner is Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner is just a nice guy. That's all I want to say about the movie. It's a good movie, but not something that will. I'm not gonna be thinking about that movie for a while. Okay, so on the night before the Oscars, I wanted to see last year's Best Picture winner. So bam, here it is, 12 Years a Slave. A lot of people say it's so good, but I can never watch it again. Why? It's so damn good. Like, the reason why I love watching this film, even though I've only seen it twice now, it's so beautifully made. It's so well directed. The scene, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, you should have seen the scene. Okay, let's just say there's a scene where the Michael Fassbender is forcing the Chiwetel Ejiofor character to whip somebody, and the intensity of that scene is so strong that you're gonna feel it, and it's even more stronger because it's all done in one take. It's a hard scene to watch, but it's hard to look away because it's all done in one take. And I love the lingering shots in this film. The just everything about this film to me is near perfect. Yeah, true, it's not something you want to pop in every once in a while. You're gonna watch Guardians of the Galaxy more than something like this, but you really owe it to yourself to watch this movie more than once. 5 out of 5. It's a good film. I'm glad it won last year. 3 more, and I'm not going to take up too much time. I saw a pre-screening of Focus with Will Smith and Margot Robbie. I did a review with Movie Man Chad for Read a Film. And like I said in that review, very easy film to watch. Very very stylish, very sleek, very sexy, and it's very entertaining. The chemistry between Smith and Robbie is fantastic. The only thing is the storytelling is good, but too convenient for a real life situation. So obviously it's a movie. You have to watch it knowing it's a movie, and just understand that the logic in this film is movie logic. There's no actual realistic logic in the film, but still, it's a good movie. Good, fun, little, well-paced crime romantic caper. Then I saw another pre-screening of The Lazarus Effect. This is the one with Olivia Wilde and Mark Duplass. It came out this year, and it easily faded away into obscurity because it sucks. I'm not going to say I've never been so bored with a horror film, because I've seen a lot of boring horror films, and this is right up there with Woman in Black, with, what's that one stupid one? The Unborn, I think? Yeah, whatever, who cares? Not a good movie at all, not interesting. The only good thing is seeing the beautiful Olivia Wilde trying to be evil. Not a good movie at all. I cannot. I hate it. Oh shit, I actually have more than. Okay, shit, I better wrap this up. Okay, after that, it's a 1.5 out of 5, by the way. For some reason, I felt like watching Ultimate Avengers from 2006, animated PG-13 adventure, yay. I always thought that DC came up with the animated series, the animated films, before Marvel, and Marvel kind of copied them. Apparently not. This came out before Superman Doomsday. Back in 2006, I don't think any of us ever thought we would have seen any of these characters in one film. And then, of course, a few years later, that's what we got. But anyway, this is a cool little animated film. Kind of weak in the voice acting department. Good animation, though. A lot of action. Pretty exciting. A little dull at times because it's basically setting up for the sequel, which I'll talk about next month because I watched it this month. So yeah, it's a 3 out of 5. Next is, I thought I was done after that, but I got 2 more. Next is The Drop. This came out last year. It's with Tom Hardy, Noomi Rapace, and it's the last theatrical film, actually the last film with the late, great James Gandolfini. Or Gandolfini. that name. Tony Soprano. It was good. I was hoping it would be a better crime drama than what it was. It was kind of slow. It's intentionally slow, and it's good that it's slow because it's not meant to be this high octane thriller, but it's a good film nonetheless. James Gandolfini gives a good performance, and I'm definitely gonna miss him as an actor. Tom Hardy, he plays this really quiet character, but he has this standout moment towards the end where it's like, wow, I like that Tom Hardy. And the little dog that's in the movie is adorable. Good film. I wouldn't mind seeing it again, but it's not something that is. It's not. It's. Some people would only want to see it once. Who knows? I might go through life just seeing it once too. But 3.5. And the last movie I saw because Jesus, I've been wanting to see it for the longest time. It came out in the year 2000. I actually have the VHS, but yet I've never freaking seen it. And it was going to be taken off of Netflix the next day. It is Gore Fight. This, of course, is the first film with Michelle Rodriguez. And I was a little disappointed. But then again, I wasn't disappointed. It's such a low-budget movie. I mean, the movie basically came from nowhere, and it made its way to Sundance. And it got a lot of acclaim. It made a somewhat star of Michelle Rodriguez, though a couple of years later she did Fast and Furious. That's what pushed her stardom up. She is basically the best thing in this movie. She definitely shows her talent. She definitely, you can tell, all the stuff that she does nowadays, she definitely got it from this movie. You know, being the tough girl, being the tomboy, kicking ass. It's not an exciting movie, but it's a good film, good drama. Some of the acting in it, besides Rodriguez, is kind of mediocre. And there's this little love story involved, which I really didn't care about. But I did like her interest in being a boxer, her interest in being a better person. And, yeah, it's a good underdog story. So, Gore Fight 3.5. Good job, Michelle Rodriguez. I love you so much. So that is it. I've gone past the 30-minute mark, which is something I didn't want to do. As always, the titles are down below. So if you could see a title in the list that you want to quickly talk about in the comments, feel free to do so. Maybe we can start a discussion. And I will be back next month. Probably around this same time, because I love doing this segment late, as always. So, like I said, I took up enough of your time. I feel like there's something else I should say. Oh yeah, in my last vlog video, I think I mentioned that I wanted to do a TV segment type of video. I'm still working on it. I don't really know how to talk about TV shows in a video. I'll figure it out though. But if I don't do it, don't hate me. So anyway, peace, and let me get the stop button. Here you go. What's it?